How to invest for teenagers. Hey there! If you're watching this video, congratulations. You're already ahead of the curve. I'm about to lay out a roadmap that could set you up to be financially free way before most people even start thinking about money. Whether you're just hitting your teenage years or you're already past that stage, this guide will serve as a checklist to ensure you're on track to reaching your financial goals. Trust me, if you start implementing these strategies now, you'll be miles ahead of your peers, and they'll wonder how you did it. I know what you're thinking. Why should I listen to this guy? Well, I managed to hit millionaire status in my 20s, but if I had known what I'm about to tell you when I was younger, I could have gotten there even faster. So, take it from someone who's been there. These tips are not just good advice, they're game changers. Don't just focus on the part of this video that applies to your current age. Make sure you follow all these steps. Skipping any of them could lead to some serious regrets later on. Let's kick things off with age 13. If you're this young, you're in a prime position to take advantage of one of the most powerful forces in investing, time. You might have heard the phrase, time in the market beats timing the market. But what does that really mean? Simply put, the longer your money is invested, the more time it has to grow. Imagine a snowball rolling down a hill, picking up more snow and getting bigger and bigger. That's what your investments can do if you start early. Now, I know you're not old enough to open an investment account on your own, but that doesn't mean you're out of options. This is where you need to get your parents or guardian involved. Show them this video if you need to, and ask them to open something called a custodial account for you. It's basically an investment account that they control until you're old enough to take over. In the UK, you might hear it called a Junior Stocks and Shares ISA, while in the US, you'll likely be looking at a UGMA or UTME account. These accounts are awesome because they allow you to start investing before you're legally an adult. And trust me, the earlier you start, the better off you'll be. Just imagine, every birthday or holiday, instead of asking for another video game or gadget, you could ask your parents to contribute to your investment account. Over time, those small contributions can turn into a significant amount of money. I'm not a financial advisor, so take this as friendly advice, but I've always found that investing in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund is a great way to get started. It's like buying a tiny piece of 500 of the biggest companies in the US, and historically, it has offered a pretty solid return. All right, moving on to age 14. At this age, one of your biggest advantages is that you probably don't have to worry about paying rent or bills yet. This is the perfect time to experiment with different ways of making money. Don't be afraid to try a bunch of different things. Whether it's washing cars, mowing lawns, or even getting involved in a local sports league. It's not just about earning money. It's about learning valuable skills and figuring out what you're good at. You might not realize it now, but the skills you develop from these activities can set you up for success later in life. My son, for instance, used to wake up at 4 a.m. for swim practice. He didn't earn a dime from it, but the discipline he learned was invaluable. It prepared him to outwork his competition when he started his own business at 18. So, even if you don't make money from every activity, the lessons you learn will be worth their weight in gold. At age 15, you're likely starting to think more seriously about money. This is a good time to start asking for cash gifts instead of physical presents. I know it's tempting to want the latest gaming console or a new bike, but think about the long-term benefits of having cash that you can invest. Trust me, in a few months, you probably won't even care about that game you just had to have, but the money you invest now could be worth a lot more in the future. It's also a great idea to start looking for a part-time job. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Working at a retail store or behind a counter is a good start. Not only will you earn some extra cash, but you'll also develop important social skills that will serve you well in the real world. Just make sure you stash away most of what you earn. I like to use the word stash because saving can sometimes imply that the money is just sitting there, waiting to be spent. Instead, think of your stash as a launching pad that will help you make even more money in the future. Oh, and don't forget to apply for your provisional driving license as soon as you're eligible. In the UK, you can do this when you're 15 years and 9 months old. Even if you don't plan on driving right away, it's a good idea to get the process started. All right, now we're getting serious. Age 16. At this point, you've got a 2-year window before you're considered a full-fledged adult. It's time to really think about what skills you want to develop. If you've been following my advice so far, you should have a pretty good idea of what you're good at and what you enjoy. Now it's time to start stacking those skills. What do I mean by stacking skills? It's all about combining your talents in unique ways that make you stand out. For example, when I was younger, I was good at selling, designing, and working with my hands. I had no idea how these skills would come together, but I kept developing them, trusting that they would all make sense one day. And guess what? They did. I ended up starting a successful business that required all those skills. I'm not saying you need to go out and buy a bunch of courses. There are a lot of scams out there, but if you can find a community or a mentor who can guide you, that's invaluable. Also, invest in the tools you need to get better at your skills. My son, for example, saved up to buy his first computer, which he used to teach himself video editing and graphic design. That investment paid off big time when he started his own business. Moving on to age 17. This is the year you need to pass your driving test. I know it might not seem like a big deal right now, especially if you don't have anywhere to go. But trust me, it's important. Being able to drive opens up so many opportunities, especially if you want to start a side hustle or take on freelance work. Imagine landing a great gig, but it's 30 minutes away and you don't have a reliable way to get there. Don't let something as simple as not being able to drive hold you back. And finally, age 18, the big one. Once you turn 18, the world really opens up to you. This is the time to make some crucial moves that will set you up for long-term success. First things first, open your own bank accounts. You'll need a current account, or checking account in the US, for everyday transactions and a high-interest savings account to start building an emergency fund. Having your own accounts is a huge step toward financial independence. Next, get a credit card. I know. Debt is bad, right? Well, not exactly. When used responsibly, a credit card is a powerful tool for building your credit score, which is essential for getting loans in the future. Just make sure you pay off the balance in full every month so you don't get hit with interest charges. You should also open an investment account. Whether it's a stocks and shares ISA in the UK, a Roth IRA in the US, or something similar, start investing as soon as you can. Thanks to the power of compound interest, the earlier you start, the more your money will grow over time. And with today's technology, you can even start with as little as a few pounds or dollars. Now, let's talk about university. Is it worth it? Well, that depends. For some careers, like medicine or law, it's essential. But for others, especially in trades or tech, you might be better off skipping university and going straight into the workforce or starting an apprenticeship. Don't let society pressure you into going to university if it's not the right fit for you. Remember, it's your life, and you should make decisions that align with your goals and interests. Another crucial tip: avoid bad debt. Not all debt is created equal. Taking out a mortgage to buy a home or a loan to start a business can be smart moves, but financing a car or racking up credit card debt for things you don't need? That's a recipe for disaster. If you can't afford to pay for something outright, you probably shouldn't buy it. Finally, start a side hustle. This doesn't mean you have to quit your day job, but having an additional stream of income can be a game changer. Plus, it gives you the freedom to pursue your passions and develop new skills. Whether it's freelancing, starting an online business, or offering a service in your community, find something you're good at and turn it into a money-making opportunity. Remember, investing for the long term is the key to financial success. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. Even small investments can turn into significant sums thanks to compound interest. And while it's important to save, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. whether that means learning new skills, starting a side hustle, or making smart financial decisions. All right, that's it for today's video. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future content. And if you have any questions or want to share your own financial journey, drop a comment below. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and here's to building your financial freedom one smart move at a time.